kill target is Lip on the McCree, so watch out for Lip, but Lee Jae Gon caught it all on his own, so they're peeking behind shields, pretty questionable.
Just immediately taken down in the Dynasty, roaring out of the gates. The Dragons, one early pickoff after another. They simply cannot stay in the fight, and that was crazy. It was just Fitz and Prophet, I believe, just getting early damage on Lee Jae Gon.
Maywall, though, by Fleta, cuts apart the tanks, forces Jester to retreat.
Yeah, and he could not get out. He tried and tried, but ends up getting caught. And now the Dragons coming right back on over. Use the Tor for a little bit of holding here, and even gets Moira on the end. And the Dynasty, as you say, Jake, a really nice comp swap to change the tempo of the fight.
Yeah, that Maywall is just perfect from Fleta. Jester able to jump over the wall, but it ends up costing him his life. And now it's just Izayaki on the cleanup. Everyone for Dynasty just in full delay mode.
And for this, I mean, it'll give them a little bit of extra progress here. The Dragons even in full control. Dynasty able to get another 5-6% off of it. So not a bad start here for the Dynasty.
EMP 95 now. Looks like they're going to make the commitment. Are the Seoul Dynasty? Coalescence out for both teams.
Primal Rage already used. Now they're trying to win this out the EMP. Stand one already out of it. And Gesture able to just boop Izayaki away. And the Dynasty get on over, and they don't even have to invest the EMP. So they took a risk there, Jake, but it pays off.
That's so massive to hold on to the EMP. Although the other side of that equation is that Lee Jae Gon is able to hold on to the sound barrier as well. So as long as Lee Jae Gon can avoid getting caught by the sound barrier, or by being able to use these effectively, it's going to be an easy fight for them. Prophet poking at the flanks, but not much.
Tough time opportunity for Pulse Bomb in the back. Gets Izayaki! Prophet opening things up. However, Fleta dropping the Blizzard into the heart of the Dynasty keeps Dragons in the fight. Supercharger going to go down. The Dragons, even with one down, still in a great position. And Fleta just offering so much control here at stand one.
Well, I mean, if that doesn't illustrate the difference between these compositions, I don't know what will. Prophet with the Pulse Bomb onto Izayaki's Coalescence, killing the Moira and canceling the ult, and still they lose the fight. You just can't ask for more out of Prophet in that situation, but it's not enough. Now the Blizzard from Fleta, and this round is as good as over.
What a crazy Blizzard build. Just using it one fight ago, builds it up again, completely slowing down the Dynasty. But the
Wait a minute.
Still potentially about to bring this back off of Fitz's EMP. 2 down. The Dragons still in a much better spot. Their front line on the point, but the Dynasty tools the delay. Prophet gonna fall. Still a very, very tough situation for the Dynasty, though, as reinforcements come back in. Marvel able to take down Lip. The Dynasty not done yet. Gesture, if he can get back in, he has Primal. That's gonna be more delay, more potential to bring things back. And now we look towards Gesture. Primal Rage up, looking for the knockoff, moving around. The Dragons drop the beat in response. And Lip coming in on the emergency Doomfist as the Dynasty, they've done a lot, Jake, but it's probably not going to be enough.
What a nice barrier there from Lee Jae Gon. It's a chaotic fight. Everyone's split all over the point, but Lee Jae Gon managed to get the beat on all of his surviving teammates, securing the round for the squad. Fitz is back in, but there's no way you're winning this 1v6. Stand one on the Orisa just got way too much done that round. You know, even with Izayaki falling to the pulse
on the other side. But now we're getting into it, and neither team wasting much time. Early wall here from the Dragons looking for the isolation. Dosen using the Immortality Field here, and Fleta just moves forward. Fleta continuing to move into the Dynasty.
Yeah, Lip just charged up and running them over. That was the Maywall from Fleta that secured that for the Dragons. But if Fitz fails his dive, even if he escapes, this fight's over for the Dynasty. They absolutely need kills.
Lip gonna open up here at the Symmetra ult. The Dynasty, though, again in a tough spot. They try and push through. And now Lip, you see the Dragon just playing around the Symmetra wall, and the Dynasty, they end up having to run in a tough situation, down time, and just nothing goes right.
I just love watching this Shanghai team play. You know, they realize that Doomfist is on the behind point. Marv was on the high ground, but now even he's forced down.
Lip taken down! Bedosen saw him coming a mile away. Early pickoff, giving Dynasty the edge once more, and the Dragons, after a good start here, stumbling a little bit on the last 2 pushes.
Yeah, the Bab Zen are just outputting so much damage for the side of the Dragons. With this Lucio Moira, Shanghai, they need to initiate very aggressively, very quickly. They just
are weaker in this composition without Gesture in the front. They're just able to run over to the point, take down Marv, and that should be point A in a nutshell.
So they just burn Marv through a Transcendence. The damage output is fierce here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Not even a Zen Discord, and they somehow get it done through Trans.
Looking to make their stand. They drop the Immortality Field. They drop the Amp Matrix, but Lip gets picked off. Fitz just looks at him, does not blink. Fitz with 2 on the other end. And Fitz now room to work with. The rest of Dynasty holding back. And the Dragons just about out of manpower and almost out of time.
Oh, what a disgusting flank there from Marv and Gesture, just diving in behind. They know that fight is
finding much here just yet, nearly falling again. Meanwhile, Fitz, Deadeye in the back. What's it gonna be? Takes down Void. Stand one though, makes it a trade. The Dragons staying on the point. Fleta and Lip, a little bit of life in them, and now Lip finally starting to connect.
Stand one, he held his Fortify for so long and ends up paying off big time there. That was so incredible.
So the Dynasty, they've had such a good defense at point B, but it could be slipping away. The Dragons rallying through. Legion gone though, down! Fitz, the early pickoff. And now the Dynasty 6-on-5. Fitz with a great angle on the stand one. Stand one in danger, gonna fall. And Fitz right there as the Dynasty hold on point B. Really get a lot of progress.
The problem is you need more than just an even trade if you're the Dynasty. You need free pickoffs and you need to have your players still fighting. So if they can't accomplish that, then in the default value game, Shanghai is absolutely crushing them. Sigma is essentially free here, but that's exactly the sort of pickoff they need. Bedosen opening things up in the stand one. Now Gesture can keep fighting and actually have some sort of reasonable contest in this front line.
And that's just going to be a clean fight for the Dynasty. They take the front line.
Bring out the Lucio. That's for the speed boost, but Marv, he could end this. Ooh, just slightly missing the grapple there, and still the kills are pouring through.
Yeah, that was going to be just troublesome for the Dragons. They didn't really have time to set up. I understand why they would go for it, given where they have to defend on point B, how their attack went, but that seemed a little bit ill-advised.
I like this from Marv, the instant switch off. Gesture has the preemptive supercharger out.
All right, late swap here onto the Echo. The Dragons hoping for a miracle. Down another two. Prophet just continues to be ravenous. Tracer cleanup in action. And the Dynasty come roaring back on Rialto. We have ourselves a series.
Definitely. I was a little worried. I like this play, though, by Void and Fleta to get this nice off angle on high ground, contesting the enemy Sigma and May that are doing the same. So it's a fair fight on the low ground. Great work by the attackers. They're equalizing the defender advantage, and looks like Void and Fleta are going to keep going on that, picking off their counterparts. This is so huge.
Marvel just could not get away. Void starting to come alive as he continues in on the flank. Void, of course, a big reason for the Dragons doing well when they win series, and a little bit quiet up until this point.
I'm pretty annoying for these attackers. They try to come through the choke.
Dynasty losing Gesture immediately, could not back out. The Dragons saw an opportunity, immediately dove in on him. Fitz gonna drop the Dragon Strike, and takes down 3! The Dragon is massive from Fitz, just eats the Dragons alive.
Perfect positioning there by Fitz.
This time, just something that splits the Dragons off. The Dragons drop a Dragon Strike of their own, and meanwhile, Void off on the side takes down Gesture, and the Dragons get the better of the choke fight.
Really nice work by Fleta there, walking in on the flank with the Blizzard. The halt comes in from stand one, and
still alive. But now the Dynasty, they have to make a move onto point. Bedosen gets caught. Lip there on the corner, catches him on the side. And the Dynasty losing two. A tough spot for bringing this one back as Lige gone. Just sitting here in the back, but Prophet gets stand one down. Still not going to be enough. Dragons get point B.
Oh, great cap there. Void making it look so easy, just locking down that left side flank. You saw how much
taking their opportunity, moving forward. Stand one, Supercharger at the ready. Prophet already down, 6-on-5. Fleta and Void again getting value here for the Dragons, and you have to give it up for Void, who's been so much more aggressive this round.
Yeah, and this is really bad because stand one was able to hold on to the Supercharger. Void as well with this Gravitic Flux. So desperate are the Dynasty to get out, but they're pushing into a Supercharger. Fitz has to be the hero here.
Supercharger out. Marvel and Toby already out of the fight.
Oh.
And the Dragons just bring it on in. The Dynasty don't stay on the payload. Dragons can be a little bit more aggressive, particularly Void, who's just taking liberties with how to approach. Stand one, though. Getting awfully low here, and Lip gets caught, went in for Fitz, takes an arrow to the dome instead, and the Dynasty shrug off the early pressure from the Dragons, and this is going to be a very quick point A.
I'm really surprised to see the Tracer on first point defense. I think it's better on defense than it is on attack, but nonetheless, I just feel like that isn't the strong suit for Lip. He's been doing great on the Hangzhou.
Working with a bit of an edge. Dragons, meanwhile, looking for an early pickoff with the halt. Prophet with the wall. Fleta's down! Fleta cannot be the hero here. Not going to build anything up. Two already down for the Dragons. And the Dynasty starting to make their mark here on point B.
Fitz is just going God mode right now. Another headshot. 3 kills, 4 kills for him in this fight. Fitz is a monster on this map. Picks up a 5th. Why not? Somebody's got to stop this guy.
Fitz is playing out of his mind.
Winning non-stop playing this comp, and a team that's been losing 3-0 is now beating you with it. So this has got to be very punishing right here. Another huge Dragon Strike from Fitz.
Fitz drops the Dragon into the corridor. Void completely eliminated. Fitz, though, does give his life for it. 5-on-5 Prophet. Moving on in. Transcendence still in reserve here for the Dynasty. They're waiting to drop it. Izayaki just use his. Prophet, though, out of the fight. I don't know if you want to transcend here. Well, you've taken down Lip. Maybe still go for it. The Dynasty appear to be all in. Bedosin gonna drop the Transcendence. Transcendence versus Supercharger. The Dragons dropping a Blizzard. Gonna be forcing the Dynasty back by freeze-out gesture. And the Dragons buy a little bit of time, but it's still 4.5 minutes left for the Dynasty, Jake.
Yeah, the Dragons, they need every kill they can get here, every little. Fitz has been on fire so far this map, and I don't think he's going to stop anytime soon.
Fitz has been great so far, takes down the Immortality Field. Toby finishes off stand 1. And now the Dynasty, they clean up the left flank, and the Dragons in retreat. Void not going to find a lot of success this time, and the Dragons are in desperation mode here. But Gesture, a little bit far forward, ends up getting dropped. But Fitz, he's there in the cleanup. It does not matter. You might be down your resub, but when Fitz is putting out this much damage in the back, the Dynasty looking unstoppable. And they're going to push this one directly in. 3.5 minutes left on their time bank. That's fast. The Dynasty, meanwhile, holding a bit back, giving the Dragons a bit of room. Marvel in danger, going to get frozen out under the Mondata statue. Desperately needs to head back, but Marvel can't get away. Izayaki finishes him off. And now the Dragons on a 6-on-5 advantage. The Dynasty, they don't want to give up the point, but on the same note, they lose Bedosin. They're getting snowballed. Void getting everything he wants and more. And the Dragons now looking at what could be a very long overtime push, Jake. Progress as Fitz finds Li Jaegon. An important pickoff here for the Dynasty as they look to slow this down. The Batiste no longer a factor. The Dragon Strike, though, from the Dragons right down Main Street. Takes down Bedosin, and Void on the flank takes down 2. Void is doing it once more for the Dragons.
Fleta found an absolutely massive Blizzard there in the back line. Now Lip with some more picks. Transcendence by Izayaki just to secure this Dragons. Great attack from them so far.
They can't let Lip get an early pickoff. That's a key thing. Fitz, meanwhile, gets one on the Izayaki. The Dynasty up 1 to start the fight. The Dragons in a much tougher position. Down 2. And the Dynasty off the early pickoff from Fitz. Able to easily stop the payload here at the end of point B. But that push forward with that and the Blizzard sooner rather than later. Prophet drops the Blizzard, trying to get the freeze. The wall is out. Lip is down.
Nice.
And off the wall, the Dynasty might have just done it here. They even get to save the Transcendence. They take the Dragons off point A. But they still have a long way to go here, Jake, as overtime approaches.
What a game-changing wall by Prophet. Cuts off the Transcendence and the Batiste, so absolutely no support. Now with the OT spawn.
It's going to take Void so long to get back into this fight. This is absolutely tragic for the Dragons. Meanwhile, Fitz off on the flank. Stand 1, nowhere to go. And the Dragon, for good measure. Nope, the Dynasty, they still have to stand the point. The Blizzard has faded. The Dragons are crumbling 1 by 1. And Jake, this should be it. The Dynasty come back in overtime. And they're going to be ahead in the series 2-1, barring the most historic of delays. It does not happen. Whew. Dynasty, they're taking a little bit slow here, Jake.
I actually really like this. I don't want them to just push up this flank altogether, where these players are going to get a lot of value. Oh no, but great move by the defense, rushing into the Sig, who's caught alone, but Marvel's able to slip out of there, and it's Bedosin who comes up with the first pick.
It was Toby with the Immortality Field, kept Marvel alive under serious strain, and as a result, the Dynasty, they pierced through the Dragons' defense. That was an insane play by Toby to keep Marvel alive.
Yeah, and from a theoretical perspective, I like this idea. You are running the Lucio, so you pretty much need to go for this very fast engagement. If you don't do that, the Zenyatta is just going to grind you out, cut you to pieces. But surprises me, usually I see them playing these really coherent, well-focused compositions. And Matrix comes out from both teams.
Dynasty again, saved by Toby's Immortality Field, well-timed. And the Dynasty get through the opening burst from the Dragons, move on through, crushing all the way. And this is a speed run by the Dynasty. And again, Jake, Toby with an on-point Immortality Field.
Yeah, great work. Void just on full delay mode, but instantly crushed down. Remember, nobody has fallen here for Seoul, so pretty much just clean up on point here. Fitz going to Dragon Strike the left side. Li Jaegon in the back line, but getting crushed by the damage putting out from the Dynasty here.
So time starting to tick away. Fleta gets down Prophet, but the Dragons need so much more. Not really sure how much longer Fleta can delay. Certainly not while you're dead. And the Dynasty now just trying to get the last little bit of cleanup, but the Dragons doing a good job of burning the clock here, Jake. Even if they fall now, they've burned off more time than you could expect. Lee J got on Sam 1, they start turning the fight. This should not be happening.
How did they do that? They bring something out of nothing there. Bedosin falls first, and everything else falls behind.
On 6. Dynasty move their way in. They drop the Ant Matrix. Dragons drop the beat in response. And the Dragons holding quite a bit further back. They deal with the Immortality Field this time. Lip finds Gesture, and the Dragons looking far more composed. And why did Bedosin drops Transcendence late into the fight here? The Dynasty committing while down players. We'll see if it works out. So far, is turning things a bit in their favor, but Bedosin gets caught a little bit later. More spawns coming back in for the Dragons, and this is going to be difficult for the Dynasty to turn back around, Jake.
Yeah, they have to play it very clean here, and even though they're getting more pickoffs, the spawn advantage is really, really significant here for the defenders. The attackers have to win a clean fight, and this is anything but that. Toby even back on the Lucio, getting cut down by Lip's Tracer, switching after that early death, and if they can get Gesture here, that's an even absolutely 0 ultimates to work with. They are extremely close to 3 of them, but not being able to just pop them right at the start of fight is painful. That is exactly how you want to use these damage-boosting ultimates. And this is going to be a mid-entry here from Seoul, but that could just be cover for their movement onto the side. Big boop out, though, by Lee J Gone, really disrupting the attack.
And he ends up forcing a big response out. So it's not enough. The Dragons just swarm in after the boop. And the Dynasty completely repelled. 33 seconds left, so they get the Transcendence. Just has to use it to keep Dynasty alive. Marvel kept alive through the freeze. The Dynasty still with a chance. The Dragon Strike over, catches Lip. Toby, though, out of the fight. The Dragons withstanding for now, and Fleta off on the side. Should be enough for the Dragons now to push us out. They drop the Blizzard. Gesture nowhere to go. And the Dragons have fought this one back. I still don't believe it. They hold the Dynasty on point B.
That's so
Void get in off the flank. Fitz builds a super quick Dragon Strike again down the corridor, but this time the Dragons able to sidestep Stand 1. Starting to make this difference, and 3 for Stand 1 as the Dragons turn that around completely.
Great rotation by the Dragons on the attack. Even though they lose Void, they just keep wrapping around. Once again, it's going to be Izyaki's Cold. That's that critical ultimate here in the fight. Stand 1 dropping extremely low. Has to commit that Fortify just to stay alive. But the picks come in thick and fast here for the defense. So much damage from this Zenyatta and Hanzo.
So Dynasty able to send the Dragons back home for now. Still 5 minutes of contend here with Jake. So, I mean, really for the Dynasty.
96.3%, and they're going to get the fight win.
Void!
That kickoff is massive.
Void catches Fitz. Here come the Dragons. They immediately beat right after. They try and take the initiative. They lose Fleta, though, even as Prophet falls. So they don't quite have a dominant 6, but they can still make something happen. Void over and in. The Molten Core all over the point. And the Dragons well on their way. But Fitz with the Dragon Strike evens things a little bit. It is not over just yet. But the Dragons very close to getting their first tick, and now they're securing.
However, Torb is extremely effective in this situation. He's one of the best heroes at this anti-stall play. The Torb turret, of course, is going to be constantly grinding away at these attackers. And Torb himself is incredibly difficult to kill with that overcharge ability. Both teams on some awkward comps, but I think Torb might have exactly what it takes here for the Dragons, and they do.
The Dragons force neither team wasting much time. Gesture, though, in danger, falls off. Very much in trouble, but the Immortality Field from Toby keeps him alive. So well timed.
That's a perfect Immortality Field, but is it enough now? Shanghai staying aggressive, charging forward is Fleta. Great ice block as well to bait the attention of the enemy team, and it's everyone from the Dragons sweeping in behind him to clean up. They're majorly disadvantaged there in the...
Keeping the Dynasty alive with the Devour. They're going to need more than that. Void drops the Flux. Gesture and Bedosin both down. And Lip, so much space to work with here on the top. Something you don't want McCree to have. The Dynasty losing their last few members, and that should be a very dominant round to the Dragons.
Yeah, that was pretty disgusting from them. Lee J Gone doesn't even have a sound barrier this round. That's not Lee J Gone playing bad. They're just crushing this round so hard. Your Lucio doesn't even charge beat, despite, I think, not dying this round. So that's an incredibly fight. You pretty much need to kill all of her teammates, and then you come back for her. But that means she's just constantly farming up superchargers and getting halts.
Early pickoff. Fitz finds Iziyaki. 6 on 5. Exactly what the Dynasty are looking for. Stand Wonder, heavy pressure, can't get away, and just feeds Fitz there. That was the dream if you're a Sombra player. And the Dynasty still have a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that hack onto Izzyaki was a game changer. Losing the Moira first, well, that's exactly the pickoff that the Soul need to make this comp work. I feel like that's a bit of
on Fitz about 25% away. The Dragons being aggressive and hang to the point the Dynasty getting a bit away, but they get stand one. They're able to chase him down. Now the Dragons working at a disadvantage. Fitz very close to the EMP gesture, creating chaos with the Primal Rage. 95%. Flood is out of the fight. The Dynasty working at a tremendous advantage. Fitz though nearly dead before he'll drop the EMP. Doesn't matter anymore. Deals with Lip, and the Dynasty force round 3, the ultimate round here in Overwatch about America, because this was not expected to happen. The shot from Fitz, so incredibly good. Already into the next fight. Prophet found stand one early, and Fitz dropping the recon sight. Looking to the side, Izzyaki gets caught! Prophet gets the stick on the other end! And Fitz finishes off Void, doesn't let him remech. The Dynasty in full control. The Dragons about to be down to their very final fight.
Prophet is just so quick. You're going to be relying on Lip's EMP here to get it done in this fight.
Final opportunity. They're trying to get down Gesture for free. They take him down. They might not have to use the EMP now. The Dragons desperately need to get ahead on economy. They want to turn this round around. And now they've done enough here so far in this fight. Fitz gets stand one towards the end, but shouldn't matter. Dragons get control. But now, Jake, they have to be perfect as the Dynasty look to turn their season around.
All right, Fitz, now is your
looking for the stick. Does not connect. Dynasty dropping the supercharger, forcing the Dragons back, looking for progress here on the point. Let him on the back. Izyaki's down. Prophet able to find him. The Dynasty well on their way. The Dragons losing presence, losing players. And can you believe it? The Dynasty turn things around. They defeat the Dragons 3-2. That is wild.
Lee J gone. He never saw it coming. Toby with the supercharger and the amplification matrix. Batiste says, who's the DPS now? Absolutely.